professional certifications for Bitcoin mining with Associate Vice President and Senior Advisor at Texas State Technical College, Kendall Carrillo, and Founding Chair of the Texas Blockchain Council and Strategic Partner, and founder of Texas Bitcoin Foundation, Natalie Smolensky.
Good to be back. Good to be back. So Kendall, thank you so much for joining me today. So we're going to talk about the professional certification programs in Bitcoin mining that Texas State Technical College and the Texas Bitcoin Foundation partnered on. So let's just start. If you could introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and your role at TSTC.
Thank you. So currently I serve on our government relations team out of the Chancellor's office. Prior to doing that, I worked in our workforce development team, and I've worked in our student learning side of the house. So I've really seen a full picture of what we offer at TSTC, and we're really excited about being here. I can tell you this much, I've learned more in the last day and a half about Bitcoin than I knew coming into it. So it's unique to be up here. I know there was one other institution of higher ed up here on the last panel, but it's good to be represented and just talk a little bit about what we do at TSTC.
Absolutely. So tell us about TSTC and how it's different from other colleges in Texas.
Yeah, so TSTC was established in 1965, and we are really focused on industry-driven, high-demand programs. We have 10 locations throughout the state of Texas, and we offer close to 50 programs, anywhere from a 9-hour occupational skills award all the way up to a associate's degree. You know, in 2013, we like to refer to ourselves as the Get a Job College. And so in 2013, we bet on ourselves, and our funding model through the state is now the return value funding model. And what that means is we track our students' wage data for 5 years after they leave the college. We take out minimum wage to know they're making a sustainable wage, and then we basically earn commission from the state on that. And so we're the only higher ed that's funded that way in the state of Texas, and one of the only ones in the United States. So that is really our differentiator.
That's amazing. So your commission is based on how much your graduates earn.
Correct. Yeah, and we, you know, over the last 10 years, we've seen our graduate salaries increase about 144% over those years, and so it's really a focus on those high demand, high wage jobs.
Yep. So has this funding model shifted how TSTC does business?
You know, it really has. We're in constant contact with our industry partners. We get a lot of feedback from not only what's currently operating on, you know, the shop floor, but really what's coming down the pipeline. And so it kind of tells us what we need to be teaching, what we need to be training on, but it also tells us what we don't need to be training on. And so each year, we really look at our programs and evaluate them and say, hey, is there a demand in the workforce? Are they getting paid enough? And if not, we will sunset that program and reallocate those funds. So we really run our college like a business to make sure that, you know, our students are getting good paying jobs.
Yeah. So, you know, talk a little bit about this relationship between education and workforce development in Texas and how TSTC fits into that.
Everything for us starts with the job. You know, every certificate, every associate's degree, everything we do has a career pathway. And so we start with the job as the first thing. But then we really understand kind of what those skills and competencies are that those employers are looking for. And so for us, it is really just taking that job, kind of reverse engineering that into our curriculum to make sure that we are putting our students into the workforce day one, once they graduate. And we really think that education that doesn't lead to a great paying job is really a disservice, not only to the student, but to the state, because they're funding us, you know, in order to be able to operate. So.
Yep. So for the context of this summit, tell us why TSTC invested in this Bitcoin mining program.
Yeah, well, you know, working in the Capitol, we saw that there was an emphasis from legislators to make this a priority. The work group on blockchain matters that you've served on, we saw that that Texas was looking to invest into Bitcoin, and we already saw Bitcoin investing into Texas. And so, as I've mentioned, we're always looking kind of on the forefront. What's the emerging technologies that are coming in? And so, we've had some conversations about what does that look like. There's always going to be, every time industry comes into Texas, there's going to be a need for skilled workforce. And so we said, hey, let's have a conversation about what that looks like. Any industry that's investing in Texas, we think we need to be a part of. And so we kind of just raised our hands. We've had conversations about what does that look like. Like I said, we have almost 50 programs. So we felt like we could really customize a curriculum that would fit. And that's kind of what our team has done and looked at. And we're almost ready to launch it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So the Bitcoin mining certification programs begin in January of 2023. So that's coming up soon. Are there particular campuses or regions of Texas that you're targeting for the initial pilot?
Yeah, so to start off, we're going to start here in Central Texas. We have a location out in Hutto that has the space to really do the training. We also think that we have kind of a talent pipeline that we can pull from here. And, we're interested in piloting this program out there. And then, as we see success, as there's industry demand, we really think that we would like to put it into other locations. As everyone here probably knows, it's a pretty capital intensive program. And so we want to make sure that we have the up-to-date equipment in our labs and in our facilities. And so those two things, industry demand and capital constraints, are two things that are going to really impact how we expand and where we expand, but we're excited about kicking the pilot program off here in Hutto.
That's great. Could you tell us a little bit about what kinds of skills and qualifications will be taught as part of the program?
Yeah, so I'm no subject matter expert. We have two of our instructors over here that they could get into the weeds with you about that, but from the conversations we've had with some of the mining companies, we've talked about having some IT background and having some electrical background. Mm-hmm. And what we're really training for is the support of the mining process, right? And so I think in this first curriculum we have networking, we have mechanical, and we have electrical power that we're going to be working on, and those are the skill sets that we're going to be teaching on. And as I mentioned, I'm no expert on it, so those guys over there can definitely dive into the weeds on what that actually looks like.
That's great. You said earlier on that Bitcoin has invested in Texas. Why does TSTC think Bitcoin is good for Texas?
For us, any industry that comes in and creates jobs with competitive salaries is great for the state of Texas.
Yeah.
I think Giga Dan, is that his name? He was talking about yesterday about the impact they've had on the Rockdale community.
Yeah.
And we serve rural Texas as well. And so just seeing the impact that it's having on that community really aligns with our mission. A lot of our students are first generation college attendees or college graduates. And to see the impact that we have not only on kind of their life, but future generations is really important. And so, like I said, any industry that can come in and create jobs and really change the trajectory of whether it's rural Texas or any Texans, we really think that that's a benefit to the state. And we feel like we should be there to help provide that skilled workforce.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Kendall.
You bet.
Just going to end with a couple of notes here. So if you are a Bitcoin mining company and you are interested in hiring some of the graduates of this program, please come talk to me or to Kendall after this panel. TSTC will continue to fund and grow this program based on industry demand. So the more of their graduates we can place with Bitcoin miners in Texas, the more that sends a signal to TSTC to keep investing in this program. So I know it's been a hard year for Bitcoin miners, but I also know that a lot of y'all are, determined, and you're doing great, bull market or bear market. So please come talk to us. And the other thing that we'll ask for is TSTC students in this program are going to need some ASIC miners to train on. So if you have a couple extra lying around and you wouldn't mind donating them to this great cause, do let us know. We'd like to get those in place over the next month or so that the students can hit the ground running in January. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I'm Lee Bratcher, the president of the Texas Blockchain Council. Thank you to everyone who came out to this year's summit, helping us make it the best one yet. Now more than ever, we need professional industry associations like the TBC to help craft effective policy instead of the CEOs of centralized exchanges roaming the halls of various state capitals or in DC. Texas is quickly becoming the center of the universe for Bitcoin, blockchain, and digital assets. If you want to be part of the future that we are crafting here in Texas, join the TBC today.